Hello, God bless you, and welcome to my channel, the Script Place TV. I just want to do this quick video to encourage someone out there. There are some of you who are you are in a place in your Christian life, in your spiritual life, in your walk with God, where you are asking questions. You find yourself in a place where you don't understand the journey anymore. You don't understand the process anymore. You wish you could ask God more questions. You wish God could explain some things to you. You want to get more details from God. I just want to make this video to encourage you. You see, when God has called you, when God has assigned you to do something for Him in the kingdom on the earth, it's important you understand that your journey will be different. Your journey will be different. I want this word to echo in your spirit. My journey will be different because I have a call on my life. I have an assignment on the earth. God has trusted me with a mandate. God has found in me. It's just like Mary in the Bible, that out of all the women in the world, God assigned Mary to give birth to Christ. It's important to understand that God has placed His hand upon you for an assignment. God wants you to birth a new dimension in the kingdom. Now, it's important when you understand that you are called to do something for God in the sphere of the kingdom. It's important you understand your consecration. Consecration are the demands, the strict demands of your calling. The demands that your calling places on you. Now, when I'm talking about consecration, I'm not talking about the rules that guide Christian life. Those are general. We are all Christians, we are all children of God, but in the Christian fold, there are people that God assigned to do some special work for them. Now, when you find yourself in that place where God has separated you, has pulled you out of the crowd, so you could accomplish something for Him in the kingdom. You have a mission on the earth. You have a purpose. You have an assignment. It's important for you to understand your consecration. There's a man in the Bible called Samson. Samson didn't understand the details of his consecration. I don't know, maybe the parents didn't tell him, because when he was going after Delilah, the parents didn't want him to marry Delilah, but they didn't tell him why. You understand what I'm saying? They didn't tell him why. Something happened. When I was 16 years old, my mother called me and she told me some things. She said to me, before I gave birth to you, God said you are going to be a preacher, a prophet. And that was why you were named Emmanuel. You were named Emmanuel by God. She said to me, God named you Emmanuel because He wants you to serve Him. He wants you to be a prophet. Now, when she told me that, there were other things she told me that those were the details. Now, when she was telling me that my siblings were not around, she was kind of, let me say this. She revealed to me my assignment on the earth. She waited until I was 16 years old to tell me this. Now, after she told me that, I documented it. I was 16 years, I documented it, because now I know, that I'm called to serve God. And prior to that, I was sensing, God, I was having the feelings that there was something about me. But after my mom said that, a prophet, prophets began to tell me wherever I go. Prophets were telling me, hey, you have the hand of God on your life. You will serve God. You are called to ministry, and you are called to prophetic ministry. You are called to be a prophet. Apart from the fact that my mom told me, and the amazing thing is that the same thing my mother told me, as per the details and the demands of my assignment, things you shouldn't do, this you shouldn't do, this you shouldn't do. If you do this, you're going to die. If you do this, you're going to die prematurely. Now, those prophets were telling me exactly the same thing my mother told me. There are things you shouldn't do. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do this. If you do this, you're going to die prematurely. It was during that time they started telling me about my marriage. They started prophesying about my marriage. I was a teenager. You know what it means for you to be a teenager, and there are prophecies about your marriage. People telling you, hey, be careful about your marriage, and some other things. So why am I saying this? You got to understand that your journey is different. You are not like every other person. You are, I'm trying to find the right word. You are an oracle on the earth. You are God's oracle. You are God's mouthpiece. You represent God before the people, and you represent the people before God. And because of that, you are not just a Christian. You are not just like every other person that goes to church. Understand this. Most of you are a mother and you are listening to me. I have had some mothers, ask me this question. I have a son and I cannot understand my son. At the end of the day, I tell her, hey, if these are happening to your child, know that he's going to be a prophet. He's going to be in the ministry. So the devil is attacking him on time. How do you know a child that is going to serve God? That child faces attack on time. The devil begins to attack covenant children. When I was still in my mother's womb, there were so many attacks. My mother faced so many attacks. She almost lost me. So, because the devil knows, when the devil knows you are coming with something, he begins to attack you to terminate the child on time. I'm just saying this for mothers who are listening to me. It's important to understand when God gives you a different, there's something about Moses. The Bible said that after the mother gave birth to him, the mother put him in a basket and placed him by the riverside, because she saw that Moses was a special child. She saw that Moses was a different kind of child. So she didn't want Pharaoh to kill Moses. So she hid him by the river. It's important to understand this, the calling and the assignment, the mandate on your child. Your deliverer is in your house. I just want to throw out this word. Some of you parents that are listening to me, you are raising a child who will take care of you, who will raise you, who will be a blessing to your generation and to your family. Now, it's important to understand this. You need to go back to God. Some of you listening to me, especially the young people, you need to go back to God and ask God the demands of your calling, the demands of your assignment, the demands of your consecration. Apart from the fact that, in the Bible, there are things that God has stated that we should do and we shouldn't do as Christians. But apart from that, there are demands of your assignment. There are things you shouldn't do because it's against the code of your assignment. Now, those things might not be sin. It might not, every other person might be doing it. Your siblings might be doing it. Every other person in the church might be doing it, but you are not allowed to do it. You are not allowed to go to so place. Personally, there are places I don't go, not because it's sin, but I don't go. You're not going to find me in parties. I don't go. It's not everywhere that I go. It's not everywhere. Some of you still argue about alcohol. I've not tested that. I don't know how that tests. I'm not planning to. No, but what I'm trying to say is this. Understand the demands of your consecration. Understand the strict demands. There are extra demands. There are extra prices you have to pay. You got to pay an extra price when the hand of God is on your life. There are things he will tell you not to do, and he will not explain himself. He's not going to give you details. He's not even going to tell you why, but he will tell you, don't do this. I remember one time I was praying and God spoke to me. He said to me, if you don't do what I said, I will kill you. I didn't ask him questions. And another time he told me something else. He said, you see these great preachers and big men of God you are looking up to, don't try to model them. Don't try to do what they do. You don't do what I do. You do what I tell you to do. So because sometimes those of us who are still coming up in the ministry, we want to copy our spiritual fathers. We want to copy our role models. But it's important you understand that God defines and determines your walk with him and the process you got to go through, because you are bringing a new dimension, a new atmosphere to the earth. Your assignment and your calling is coming with some demands. Your price will be different. Your consecration is different. Your calling is different. Your mission on the earth is different. So God cannot train you the way he trained your pastor. He cannot train you the way he trained your spiritual father or your bishop. You cannot copy him. No, he might challenge you, he might train you, he might raise you, but you cannot copy him because your assignment and your destination is different. You are bringing a different tone to the kingdom. Why am I saying all this? You got to understand your consecration. Like Samson, he didn't understand his consecration. He didn't understand that he can't marry from a certain tribe. He didn't understand the hand of God on his life. He cannot eat certain things. He was a Nazarite. He didn't understand. Like John the Baptist, the Bible says he was in the wilderness, in the desert, eating honey and locusts and having encounters with God until the time of his showing to Israel. When you understand your consecration, people will misunderstand you. I'm about to end this video. People will misunderstand you. Your family will misunderstand you. Your friends will misunderstand you. Your co-workers will misunderstand you. People in church will misunderstand you because they don't know your consecration. They don't know the things that God said about you. They don't know the process you are going through, the training you are going through, the details of your mandate. They won't understand, and you are not supposed to explain it to them. It's not their business anyway. So your assignment, your responsibility is to stay in the process, to prepare yourself, because there's work to do. So why am I saying all these things? There are rules for every Christian that is detailed in the Bible, but there are other strict rules that God will give you because of your consecration. So understand your consecration and prepare for it. Prepare for it because you are going somewhere. There is a voice that you bring on the earth that no other person will bring. Not your pastor, not your bishop, not your role model, not your mentors. No other person will bring that voice on the earth. And because of the voice, the unique message, the books you're going to write, the ministry you're going to pioneer, the things that you're going to do for the kingdom that are unique, your training will be different. And sometimes, I'm sorry to say this, you will not understand yourself. You're not supposed to understand yourself. The Bible says that the wind blows and nobody knows where it's coming from and where it's going to. So is a spiritual man. You are not supposed to understand yourself. Just keep moving. Keep moving and keep moving. God bless you. Emmanuel is my name.